I honestly cannot believe just how incredibly cringe it was. It's no secret that I don't really believe in a God. When I see stuff like this, like I just saw for the American Atheist Convention, I just feel really, really, really ashamed that these kind of people want to advocate for like atheism towards like other people across the United States. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make fun of them. I'm just gonna make fun of all these sort of people who represent American atheists because I feel as though their ideas are just hilarious as much as the religious people too. So this person that's on the stage right here, her name is like Medisa Thomas right here. And she said right here at the convention, I think it was like on April the 16th, that apparently January the 6th was like one of the most extreme displays of white supremacy in modern times. Oh my god. Okay, where do I even begin with this whole entire paragraph right here? Like, first and foremost, like, what happened last year, it was terrible. I will not lie. What happened was terrible. But to sit here and say that what happened last year was part of white supremacy, that is so incredibly stupid. And the main reason why it's so stupid is because, honestly, there were like a lot of different people from different backgrounds that went to the Capitol. There were like the Trump supporters, of course, that went to the Capitol. Make no mistake about it. But at the same time, like they were not necessarily white supremacists. They were like, people who were concerned about the results of the election. And so I'm not gonna sit here and say that all the people at the Capitol are like white supremacists. I'm not gonna say that. And so to sit here and say that they're all white supremacists, I'm sorry. That is like very, very stupid. But it gets worse. It gets worse because honestly, when I saw this tweet for the first time, I just cannot believe how cringe it was. And so let's take a look at this tweet right here. Okay, so again, this comes directly from Mandisa Thomas. She says, the racism of all lives matter crowd. Yes, all lives matter, but all lives don't matter unless Black Lives Matter, she says. Here are 9 more ways non believers can uphold white supremacy. Okay. Okay, let me try to see like this load of the tree right here just to see how ridiculous it is. Okay, okay. 10 ways you might be upholding white supremacy as a non-believer. Constant appeal to white and or male authority. Constant appeal to academic scholarship, especially white and male. Wait a second. You mean to tell me that if I were to cite like a white scholar, that's evidence of supporting white supremacy? Okay. Thinking you're all on an equal playing field, asserting your opinion where it not belong, dismissing the importance of anti-racism work. Oh my goodness. Like on my channel, many times I talked about anti-racism many times. Don't get me wrong. And anti-racism is literally the opposite of like what you hear in the whole entire thing because anti-racism is actually racism reincarnated. Because there was this book that was called like How to Be Anti-Racist. It was done by Ibram X. Kendi. And he said right in the book that basically, of course, past discrimination is justifiable for future discrimination and vice versa. And that was like so incredibly stupid. It adds more racial tensions by using books like Ibram X. Kendi. Okay, so now for critical race theory, again, critical race theory was invented like back in the 1970s, and it basically says that the entirety of like white society is keeping black people down, and that the best way to have equity across the whole entire country is literally like the quota stuff for equity. It's like really racist ideas too. And so yeah, it's kind of funny, but let's continue with the list right here. Encroaching on BIPOC spaces. I love that word BIPOC. Like black, indigenous people of color, really? Why would people use that kind of language? But anyway, BIPOC spaces and being a authoritarian, constantly expecting BIPOC to educate you, especially about compassion, thinking that reading books resolves anything. Lack of financial support for BIPOC organizations. All lives matter. So yeah. Yeah, that was like, really, really, really crazy. But yeah. Really crazy. Now the whole entire chain of reactions to like, the people reacting to this tweet has been hilarious too. And so I'm just going to go to like, this tweet right here. This guy who actually said this post right here, his name is like Andrew L. Cedel. He's like a lawyer for like I believe some sort of organization. I think it was like the Freedom of Religion or something. He says right here, some retrogressive hangover are attacking my American atheist friends and Mandy0904 for addressing this critical issue, even calling hilariously for a boycott. So I donated $50. Like, it's so strange to me. How is this a critical issue? Like, how? She's basically saying that if you actually appeal to, like, white scholarship, that's you being racist. That's you contributing to white supremacy. How is this helping? Like, how is this helping in the slightest? Oh my goodness. He's also trying to cite, like, the anti-racist work of Ibram X. Kendi, which, again, is trying to shame you for being a white person. Now, I reject the whole entire idea of original sin. That's obvious. I reject the whole entire notion because basically it assumes that all of humanity are guilty because it's like two naked people in the garden, right? But like, how is this any different? Like, this whole entire idea of anti-racism is to make like white people feel guilty of the past actions. Again, it's just so. It just does not make any sense why anyone would support it. Now, the next tweet I have right here comes directly from like Steph Andrews. Now, Steph Andrews, I like the guy. I like his radio voice when he does like his podcast. But man, he is like really, really like mistaken right here. He says right here, indeed, seems far too eager to misunderstand or misrepresent what Thompson said at AACon 2022, excuse me. Her was not a presentation of white guilt. It was about understanding like the mechanism to work together as the color culture spectrum for equality. No, it's the opposite stuff. Like, read this whole entire chart right here. Like, read the whole entire chart. It says that she cannot appeal to white scholarship, that she had to read like anti-racist books, which happen to be racist. Like, how can you say it's not about white guilt? The ideas themselves are about white guilt. It's like, oh my goodness, like it gets better. It gets really better. So I'm gonna just try to find like another true right here. It's like gonna be really good. It's like so funny to me. Hilarious. But this tweet right here comes from Stephanie. She says, like, one of the big reasons there's less, not more, harassment of marginalized people in the secular movement than there used to be is because we name it the people who did it and the people who enable it. It works, which is why some people yell about it. Harassment only works as a tool when we normalize it, when we say it isn't news, when we treat harass as a passive verb with no actor. The only people damaged by it are people harassed. Half the reason people harass others here or encourage their followers to harass is because their targets hold them accountable. If they're accountable for their harassment, then those have to lose something harassment, or they lose. That works too because institutional power and reputation put weights behind their harassment. Harassment from failures is still annoying, but it's still laughable at the same time. Yeah, I, of course, condemn the whole entire idea of harassment. That's like really terrible that people are getting harassed. But at the same time, I like to see examples of like, people being harassed or something. But okay, I'll just take it as at your word. But this video is also kind of funny to me too, because like I found this video just a moment ago. It's like so hilarious. But let's go right here. It says, speaking at the American Atheist Convention. So let's hear the video. Let's hear the video.
Is yes, the lack
at the Atheist Convention
about has to do with what we have in common as atheists is yes, the lack of belief The one thing is that a lot of people do not pay attention to is that when they deconstruct their faith, they don't deconstruct other toxic traits. They don't deconstruct from the patriarchy, they don't deconstruct from the racism, they don't deconstruct from the transphobia, from all of those little things. Just because you're in this group and you don't believe in God, we also want you to deconstruct from the other things as well. So we need to work towards that point, that goal as well. We need to look at it from an intersectionality point of view.
Oh no. No, 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 man. No. No. Like, intersectionality is like the worst kind of idea ever. Just basically, the whole entire idea of intersectionality is the idea that basically, more or less, depending on your variable identities, people have it harder in life than the other people. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people that probably do, in fact, have, like, a harder time than others. Let's take, for example, like the able bodied people in comparison to like the disabled bodied people. That's true that there are some people that do kind of, have that kind of like advantage and disadvantage. But when it comes down to trying to compare like who is actually worse off than the other group for the racial groups, that's actually going to actually add some more racial tensions. We already see so far, at least in like American schools, how more or less like they pit like the white students against the people of color people, whatever. I hate that term, people of color. They pit the people together and do some sort of like what was it called? I forgot the name of the whole entire thing. Wait, it was actually called, I believe it was like something with like the walking something. It was like some sort of walk, some sort of school walk, where they try to like say like because you're white, just walk forth. If you're black, walk back, and vice versa. And so that kind of implementation of like intersectionality, again, is only divides people. It's not going to help people out. It's just not going to help people out in the slightest. And of course, here's some more tweets that I have right here for you guys. So this is going to be fun. All right, so here is like a tweet that comes directly from like what's the name of the account? Embrace the Void. This is part of how the immoral non-believer stereotype persists. Some folks have internalized that atheism is separate from morality and from the cell to the action to make this world the best it can be. Luckily, we can fix this with value-centered community organizing. It's like so strange to me. Like, of course, the whole entire, I guess, issue about atheism, yeah, it's only about the lack of belief in a God. But at the same time, like, how does this have to do with morality? Like, how people get the morality, honestly, it's like dependent on like the society that you live in. Of course, like there are social constructs on why people in government and power decide which is actually legal or not legal. It's based upon the reflection on how people get the morality stuff. And of course, you pass it on to your parents and to the kids and vice versa. And sometimes you self evaluate, like what kind of thing is good for us, what kind of thing is bad for us, etc., etc. And so it's just so weird to me how, like, they try to make this whole entire thing about social justice. And this guy right here has, like, the money right here, is like, it's on the money. It says right here, hold on, let me try to see the whole entire thing. This tweet expects too much background information from me. Is that line underneath the picture part of the talk within the picture, or a comment that disagree with the talk? Who is they? Who is their terrible ideas? What's your position about the topic? Okay, let me try to read this comment right here. It says right here, this is my favorite talk of the weekend, even before it pissed off the atheists for the anti-woke liberty crowd. I'm glad they took their terrible takes and started their own group so that their own community can focus on promoting secular moral values and fixing the red damage they cause. Let's see, it's in cult caption anti-woke atheists. Which topics, especially social justice-centered atheism, is the future just part of the movement? Other folks can do as they please, but this is what our community is doing, and it's very good in my opinion. It is what you're doing that you're doing a terrible job at it. There is no such thing as social justice-centered atheism, and this sort of thing actually makes you the assholes. Yeah, I actually agree. I actually agree with this whole entire thing. It's like, it's so freaking incredible to me how like some of these people are like, really crazy. Really, really crazy. But let's continue with the last tweet, and I'm gonna probably sign off for tonight because honestly, I can go for hours and hours just talking about how cringe this is. It is just so cringe. But finally, it says like atheism, the key of CRT. It says a bunch of reactionary white male atheists got into this thread and shed all over the wall because a black atheist gave a speech on white supremacy. How dare she? Could in here and offer some backup for Medisa Thomas. And of course, there's like a lot of stuff going into like the comments, blah 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 blah, etc. 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 and so on. So yeah, this has been like a big shit show right now. Really, really, really big shit show. And honestly, I think, of course, this sort of stuff is so much cringe. It's only gonna just divide people in the whole entire thing. Like again, I said earlier in the whole entire live stream that basically you just have to laugh at yourself because honestly, of course, there are some people who are on your side that are just so incredibly stupid that you have to make fun of them. And so this is why I'm doing this whole entire live stream. Is to show you guys I can make fun of my own side too when it comes down to this whole entire topic. But anyway, what do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.